You are now listening to the voice of horror. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are tonight for Slasher Movie Club. Coriander, what's going on?
Hey, oops, you know what? I just realized I didn't fix my name. Shoot.
It's all good.
It's just
It's
me
all
tonight.
good. All right. So tonight, guys, this is going to be very, very cool. We're going to be talking about Hospital Massacre, aka X-Ray, aka a bunch of other names from 1982.
Mm-hmm.
Starring the great Barbie Benton. And we had a blast doing this as our first movie. I can't believe we haven't done this sooner, but our first movie in Slasher Movie Club history, which now is at like 100 episodes, where we actually had a club style watch along for the movie.
Yeah.
We defeated the tech issues and everything, but we got this thing done, man. So this will be fun for you guys that watched it with us, especially, and for you guys that know this movie. Definitely join the conversation as far as what you thought of the movie. But real quick, just to say hello to the folks in the chat. We got Val's in the chat. What's going on?
Hey.
What's going on? Jason's in the chat. What's going on, Jason? Ronan is in the chat. Russell is in the chat. What's going on, Russell? Good to see you. Saying I smashed the like button before I came into this awesome stream. You're all right, man.
Nice.
You're all right. and definitely, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It helps to support the channel, and we'd really appreciate it. Let's see who else do we have in here. We have Jason. X-Ray is the title listed on IMDb and Tubi. It's funny because this movie goes between multiple titles. It actually had some other titles too. I think there was another title called Be My Valentine or something like that. But it's known, well, I'd say it's probably known most popularly by X-Ray, maybe. I don't know. I always knew it as Hospital Massacre, but yeah.
I've never heard of it, seen it.
Well, until now.
Unfortunately, yeah. No.
Dan's in the chat. What's going on? Saying, hey guys, this movie was something else. It was. It really was.
Yeah.
Katie's in the
Good
chat.
it.
What's going on, Katie? And happy early birthday to Katie. Tomorrow's her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. Let's see. I just want to catch up real quick. Philip's in the chat as well. What's going on, Philip? Good to see you. And Nathan, good to see you. Jen's in the chat. What's going on, Jen? Good to see you.
Hello.
All right. Let's see. Jason Dyer's in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you as well. Wayne's in the chat. Hey, Wayne, what's going on? And we got Thorns in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you.
Hello.
And Chuck. What's going on, Chuck? Doing well today. Hope you're doing well too. Hey, Peyton. Good to see you. All right. You guys are all right. So let's talk about this film that again, it was just one of those things that we finally came up with the idea to watch this as a group, a true club. And by the way, if you guys are interested in joining us for our watch alongs that we're going to be doing for Slasher Movie Club episodes, definitely consider joining us for channel memberships. Just hit the join button next to the subscribe button and you can. Okay, so Coriander, let's start with you. Any opening thoughts on this movie or how it started off? It's a very simplified movie. It starts off with a flashback. What were you thinking when this thing started off?
Not much. Oh, yes, okay, it was this flashback I'm trying to remember. Uh, I mean, this wasn't bad, because yeah, you see, actually, this flashback was pretty good. It opened pretty good
Yeah,
because
I
you
think so.
had, this little kid that, ends up dying. So yeah, yeah, but by the hands of this other evil kid.
Right,
So,
right, right.
I mean, it started out great. That's all, yeah. So I liked how it started out. So there you go.
Well, it was some interesting setup because it then jumps 19 years later. It's basically following Susan's story as a little girl. She found one of her friends murdered, and seemingly by this kid was creepy as hell. I just want to say that this kid was creepy as hell, and she was kind of making fun of him. He wanted to be her Valentine. She crumpled up his little Valentine heart thing or whatever. And so that's kind of how things start off. But we go into present day, and you have Barbie Benton who's playing Susan. She's the lead, obviously. And she is, she's married and divorced. She has a child right here. I think her name is Eva, the kid. And she's also got a fiance. So there's already some weird stuff going on as far as all these different connections to her. But she's going to the hospital basically to have a follow-up. And it's a very simple premise. Okay, it's a very simple premise, but I gotta admit, it works because you're in one setting. And Coriander, you know how I feel about hospitals, and this
Yeah.
hospital found a way to be creepier than the hospital in Halloween 2 from 1981. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. um the ex-husband, though, he was pretty damn sus. There was like 1,000 red herrings in this movie. What
Mm.
did you think about that, Coriander, and how things started off once she got to the hospital?
Yeah, it was weird. The staff's weird, and it
Mm-hmm.
just, yeah, it was sketchy from the beginning. And I
Mm-hmm.
think once they're like, oh, you need to stay for something else, I would have been like, no, I would have just left. Screw this. And this elevator scene too, it's like, yeah, it's just, yeah,
There
it
were
all
like two
started.
there were like two fake outs on this elevator. You got the exterminators, you got that
Yeah.
drunk guy with the jelly on his face, and she's traumatized, obviously, so that's why she's so sensitive to things.
Hmm.
So that was kind
Yeah,
of interesting, in my opinion.
yeah. But anyway.
Wayne saying, just from the photos, I love the old school 80s look. Yeah, I do too. And I actually also did a poll where I was asking, how many of you guys here enjoy, the campy, cheesy, or schlocky 80s horror films? I will say, watching this film, I'm not going to give my score of it yet, but I will say, watching this horror film, it really did take me back to when I was a kid, going to the video store and checking out, a lot of those horror movies that went under the radar, or obviously the ones that weren't the big name, like Nightmare on Elm Street, or, Halloween, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And this movie is definitely in that arena because it's very campy, it's very cheesy. But I will say, and it starts off with one of the first murders, which is the doctor, Susan's doctor, and there was some pretty good tension in it. She had to go onto the floor that was being fumigated or whatever, so it's foggy. It's you can't see very well, and yeah, the killer comes out, and he goes off on the doctor. I'm talking about stabbing like 85
Hmm.
times. Blood is just popping up all over the place. It looks like something out of friggin' Phantasm as far as the blood spurting. What did you think of this first kill, Coriander? Because I also want to focus a little bit on these kills.
That was probably like the only thing that kept me in this movie were the kills, because yeah, they were pretty good. So
I think so too. I
there you
mean,
go.
I think I think the setup was pretty good too. It's like
Yeah, the setup was
these
fine.
characters. Yeah, I mean, these characters, you don't, especially with this one, because you don't know, if you've never seen the movie, you don't know who the killer is. You don't know how the killer is
Hmm.
going to attack. You don't even know what the killer looks like at this
Hmm.
point. So I thought that was pretty darn interesting. Let's see. Albany Saratoga is in the chat. What's going on? Welcome to the chat.
Hey.
Saying the 4K is great. Plus the extras. The other movie on the release, not so much. I own it and don't remember the title. Maybe Schism or something. I hated it. Yeah, Schizoid. We actually did an episode on that quite a long time ago. Wow, there is a double. I do remember seeing that. It's a double edition, double movie edition. But you'll have to let us know what extras are on it because I don't remember. But I hope that there were some really cool extras on it. But thank you very much and welcome to the chat. We appreciate you being here. Let's see. And also, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do. Please do. Yeah, Dan was saying this hospital had a whole wing of creeps. It did, man. Everybody, there were like two, and I'm going to get to them. There's like two people staff wise in this hospital that didn't seem creepy out of like 10 characters. It was so crazy, man. Val's got the poll results here so far. We got 24 votes. Yes at 79%. Hell no at 0. So that's good. Usually at 21%. So most of you guys are definitely down with the 80s cheese. That's cool. Let's see. Jason was saying the tension began abruptly and built throughout. Definitely one of the creepiest hospitals I have ever seen in a horror movie. I co-sign that, man. I co-sign it. No doubt at all. Let's see. Melissa's in the chat too. What's going on? Val was saying I did love the build up to each kill. I agree. I think that it was look, let's just call it what it is. This is a very low budget, schlocky 80s horror film that was made back when everybody was making horror movies. And we've talked about different horror movies, slasher movies, I should say, from this time period. So knowing what we know, and I'm talking about you, Don't Go in the Woods Alone and other movies of that ilk, this is actually pretty darn good. Like the music was pretty good. The atmosphere was good. The kills were decent, decent to good, I would say. But the buildup to them were pretty good. So just throwing that out there. Jason saying, I agree. The kills were the main thing that kept me intrigued. Crafty and cleverly done. Okay. Very, very cool. Dan in the room of crazy old ladies.
I know. It's like, what the hell kind of hospital is this? You think if they had like patients that needed some type of rehabilitation, they'd be on a different floor than patients who are coming in and out. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Yeah, I think some of it was the fact that you had patients that and we were talking about that when we were all watching it together, is that you had some patients that seemed to be more like rehabilitation, which hospitals do have that. Maybe they were just mixing up the new patients with the rehab people or whatever. I don't know.
That would suck though, honestly.
Well, yeah, but I mean in this movie
anyway,
but of course in this movie you had to have that, or else you know what I mean,
guess.
we wouldn't have a movie. Well,
those ladies didn't have to be in it.
No,
they
not
didn't
those
even
ladies.
It's like they didn't even die, and one looked like it was some dude dressed up like a lady.
Yeah.
So
but this second kill, man, the janitor with the acid, the face dunked into the acid. What did you think of that scene? That was a pretty good scene too, because he thought he was trying to find the doctor, Dr. Jacobs. Yeah. Dr. Jacobs is the doctor that was killed. That was Susan's doctor that really started this whole thing. And he's trying to get help because he finds the doctor or whatever. And he gets dunked into acid. What did you think of that scene?
Yeah, like I said, the kills, they were pretty good. And yeah, that would be terrible,
Right?
Acid, anything acid. Yeah, no thanks. So yeah, this no doctor doubt. Or whoever, he is a doctor. Yeah.
Well, but we don't, right.
We don't know, but
we don't know that.
Right, but he's dressed like a doctor, so I'm just assuming that he's one crazy mother. So yeah.
Yeah, man, I will say, man, he did not, like when he killed people, he was invested. Like he was like getting physical and just the energy. And I was just
it's like he's not even there. He's just in the motion of doing it. And yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, very, very psychotic. Like that's a great point. Hey, what's up? Steven's in the chat from Steven Gervais and Friends
Hey.
podcast. What's going on, man? Good to see you,
All
man.
right.
Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think we're caught up there. But yeah, so that kill was pretty gnarly. I mean, and I gotta admit, when they pulled him out, the janitor out, they didn't shy away from it. Usually a lot of low budget
Yep.
slasher movies, they will shy away from the fact that they don't have really good, makeup or practical effects and so forth. But this movie didn't shy
Hmm.
away from stuff. They really, they kept up with it. Let's talk about the ex-husband. Like he was like one of the biggest red herrings to a degree. He was
Yeah, I
weird
can
as
see why
hell.
she left him. Yeah, man. But I don't think I'd want to leave my kid with him either. I'd be like, you're
Right?
coming with me.
Like the
Yeah,
kid is so
no.
sweet, and
Hmm.
the ex-husband, he's just like the phone is ringing in this scene, and it's Susan who's calling them to check in with the daughter Ava,
Hmm.
whatever. And the daughter's like, "Are you gonna answer that?" He's like, "No, it could be somebody that I don't want to talk to," as he's like mutilating an orange. It's like,
Yeah,
what
it's
is
like
going
stabbing
on
it.
here?
It's like, exactly. It's like, this is, yeah, poor kid.
I know this pork. Yes, because the kid seemed really nice, right?
Well, not only that,
Yeah,
but,
it's a
you
kid,
know, yeah, and not only that, but yeah, you get a little bit of, a little worried for, because
right?
shit, he's, like you said, is he a red
Yeah,
herring?
right.
Maybe,
He's
but
definitely
he's weird.
he was. Yeah, yep. Jason saying the killer in this film was indeed very creepy, focused totally on his mission and brutal. Pretty
Yep.
impressive for a low budget film. Exactly, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
again, we're talking about slashers, okay? So first of all, let's understand that. And a lot of our episodes are early slashers, from the early 80s, mid 80s. So again, we have to understand the assignment here. So I think all in all, this movie had a lot of pretty good things going on. But so Susan is stuck here because they tell her, we know that her file was switched by somebody,
Hmm.
and they tell her she can't leave because we're assuming, because they showed an x-ray that looked totally wacky, we're assuming that
Yeah.
something is really really wrong, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
she talks to this intern Harry, who is trying to help her because she's like, I don't know why they're keeping me, and I'm here to see Dr. Jacobs, but so forth and so forth. So he's trying to help her, and they have a couple scenes where they're trying to figure out everything. He even helps her to break into the patient's files and stuff. So,
Yeah.
it was kind of cool, but he has hospital protocol. So he has to let the lead doctor, the lead surgeon, know what he found on the x-rays. Now, again, we know that the x-rays were switched, but
Hmm.
anyways, they're like, no, you can't leave, we have to run some more tests and all this type of stuff. So she is stuck at this creepy ass hospital. It was like, oh my god, it's like, how can
Hmm.
this even be, man? How can this even be? But let me ask you too, Coriander, let's jump to a couple of the other kills, as we kind of move ahead. When we get to the point where one of the other nurses, Nurse Susie, she was stabbed to death. What did you think of that particular kill? I mean, some of these kills were just like really, really
Nurse
crazy.
Susie. I don't remember that one.
Okay. She was stabbed to death. You had another nurse who was strangled with a stethoscope because she was trying to get help. She's
Oh, I
walking down
do
the
remember
hallway.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty crazy, man. There
Yeah.
was just, you've got this scene
That
where
scene pissed me off. I'm
what
sorry.
what the
This
strangling?
scene, no, that you're showing right now within this picture,
Okay.
where she's hiding and she drops the lighter, and it's
Oh,
like,
no, no, no. That's
she,
that's later on. This is
I
this
know,
is
but you're
the
just
scene right before
showing,
the examination.
right, but I was talking about the picture that you were showing.
Right, but
Oh,
what I'm saying is this is the picture
I
right before her
gotcha.
examination. Yeah. She
Gotcha.
had to look through the curtains a few times, man.
She
But
did.
this exam was literally so wrong. I know it's 1982, but not only is he examining her, but it's total no curtains around. Like, it was what is
Took
going
his gloves
on, man?
off.
He didn't have any gloves on. He didn't have his mask on. And it's like, he's what are you doing, buddy? It's like absolutely
Yeah,
crazy.
he's a pervert.
You got the drunk guy outside who's looking in on it. He can see it. It's like, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on?
Yep.
Uh, but I think that what it was doing, whether it was successful or not, it was sometimes successful, but sometimes it wasn't successful. It was setting up these other characters as the possible killer, and especially this lead doctor. He was just, oh my God, he was crazy, man. Some of the stuff that he was just, and it's funny because, doctors do these things, but it wasn't like the most proper protocol. Like Jason was saying, no curtains, no female nurse in attendance. What the hell? It's like that just would
Mm-hmm.
not happen. Um, Totally crazy, man. Totally crazy. This scene here, these were the only two nurses that seemed to be kind of normal. These two, the one right here who's
Yep.
typing up, I guess, the whole information on Susan, and the one who had kind of walked in on her saying hello. Like they actually had a normal conversation. They seem normal. They're like the only two I can think of in this hospital that seem normal. What and of course they're about to get killed. What did you think about them Coriander, and how the kill happened after that?
Yeah, I agree. They certainly, yeah, for just doing their job and doing it in an orderly fashion. Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah, they
yeah,
actually
he's stab happy, because
he
he did that
is,
with
man.
that chick, and throws her in the closet or whatever that is. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it
Yeah.
was interesting.
It was crazy. And then he's switching the paperwork, right? So and
Hmm.
and for you guys that are watching, if you've seen the movie with us, you know. If you haven't, this was an interesting scene because he kills the nurse that was typing up the report. So then he puts in the fake report and he
Yep.
leaves the room. And not even a few seconds later, you've got Harry that comes in, who's been trying to help Susan. He comes in and he's taken the
Hmm.
report back to the doctor. So he's got the wrong thing. He's trying to help her out, but he's got the wrong report. That's basically, and they never tell us what it is, but it's basically saying that she is in bad shape. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
It's either a disease or something that is life
Quarantiner.
threatening.
Hmm.
Well, well, if they were quarantining her, then this doctor that had her naked and feeling all over, he definitely
Yep.
didn't follow
Strap her down
protocol.
and
It's
yep.
like
There you
they
go.
needed, yeah. And this is the stethoscope kill. That was crazy, man. Like right in the
Hmm.
middle of the hallway. Of course, there's no one in the hallway. What? what where is everybody? It's like, is this Haddonfield or what?
Maybe.
Oh my god.
Could have
Um,
been.
and these nurses with him, they were also pretty creepy. That one in the back, man, the really
I
tall one,
know, the
she
tall one,
kept
man.
she kept giving Susan I'm talking about the evilest eye. I mean, you would
Hmm.
literally think she was the killer. I mean, she was like every time she looked at Susan, she was just mean mugging the whole time. It was pretty crazy, man. But at that point, that's when they tell her, "We got to keep you here overnight. This isn't just going to be a follow-up that's going to take an hour. We got to keep you here overnight." And she's like, "Well, what's going on?" And he's basically like, "It's nothing bad." And she's like, "Well, you're not acting like it's not bad." And he's like, "Okay, it is bad."
Yeah. Ridiculous.
It was, man. It was. And there are your old ladies that were
Oh my God.
in the room. They were making fun of Susan. They were like gossipy, these old hags. Just, you know, it was. I don't
One
know, man.
reminds me of like a gypsy that should be in Thinner, that one in the middle.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes, you're right. Oh my God, she does look like the gypsy from Thinner. Shout
a
out to
little
Stephen
bit.
King. Well,
Yeah.
now let's get into the third act here. At this point, Susan realizes that something is wrong, right? So
Yep.
she's trying to get out, or at least to let people know that, hey, someone is messing with my records and you guys need to know this. Now, Harry, like I was saying a little bit earlier, Harry took her to the patient's files, and they were trying to get her regular file and pretty much just prove that something's going on. But of course, while they're snooping around, someone's coming to the door and looking in, and then leaves. So this is one of two scenes that was really important in this movie to me. We'll get to why at the end. But look, she's in a bad situation, man. She really is. And
Mhm.
her fiance comes inside of the hospital because he's like, well, I've been sitting outside for her for a little while. What's going on? And just everybody's just like, well, she can't leave yet, and he eventually sees her and she's like, we got to get out of here. And Coriander, of course, they go to the elevator and
Right.
who's there? The security
These
force.
goons.
It's
Yeah. It's like, oh man.
it's like a standoff. But
Hmm.
man, I can't lie, man. At this scene, they basically bring her into the room. They basically tell her, no, you got to go back to your room. And her fiance is basically just standing there like, well, what's this all about? Look, if I'm in that situation, I'd have been like, get your hands off of my fiance. We're leaving because she wants to leave. You know what I mean? Now, obviously,
Yeah.
because of the movie, she has to remain in the hospital. But you get what I'm saying? That scene,
Mm.
it it just seems like you have to suspend disbelief for a film. But this is one of those moments where it's like, okay, wait a minute, this is stretching reality a little too much. What did you think about that?
I mean, this movie stretched reality from the moment these friggin' she walked into the hospital. So, that's all I have to
Okay,
say.
okay, all right, okay. Um, Another kill scene that was pretty good is the scene where her fiance um ultimately gets killed because he's trying to find her. He's again that friggin' whole floor that was being worked on and fumigated because he was called
Mhm.
there because they basically the killer tricked him going over the intercom and saying, hey, you have to come to room whatever number room it is. But he goes there and now we get a saw kill. That was pretty gnarly. I did enjoy that, like some different instruments.
Oh
He
yeah.
wasn't just stabbing people, he's using acid, he's using bone saws and all that type of stuff. That was a pretty good kill as well, I
Yeah,
thought.
when you're in a hospital, yeah. The weapons you could grab, the chemicals, it's like the drugs.
Right.
Yeah. You could have a
Right.
smorgasbord of fun.
Right. Right. The killer brings in the head of her friggin' fiance in the box. You knew that right off the bat. You were like, oh man, it's got to be the head that's in the box. It sure was, man. What's in the box? What's in the box? But yeah, so she's freaking out and runs out of the room. You see this room where you got a whole bunch of people in traction. It was just some weird imagery in this movie, man. It was so
Yeah.
cheesy. I'm telling you. Wayne said a Saw kill before Saw. Yeah, way before Saw. No doubt. Way before Saw, man. Um, but again, you got the nurses that are holding her back, and this is one of those scenes where it really started to be like, come on, man. They're giving her pills to calm her down. Fortunately, she doesn't take the pills, which was a smart
Mhm.
thing. Like she did show some intelligence in this movie too, which I thought was good. I was glad to see that. Jason saying at this point in the film, I started to roll my eyes. This went beyond suspension of disbelief. Utterly ridiculous. The doctors and nurses group keeping her in the hospital all bugged me to no end. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think that was the thing. It was like ramping up this tension because you're getting frustrated, just like she is. I think that might be part of it too. Is that you're getting frustrated just like Susan is in this movie. You know what I mean?
I was
Jason
just
saying,
losing interest. Not so much getting frustrated, but it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Jason saying, I thought, are they in league with the killer? But when they became victims themselves, that destroyed that theory. Yeah, at first I was wondering that too. Like at first, part of me was wondering, well, is there more than one person behind this? So I was right there with you because they not only were acting suspicious, but it was just like so crazy the way they were just trying to keep this woman there. You know, this is the scene you were talking about when she dropped her lighter because she's a smoker and she was trying to hide because she saw the killer. Now,
Hmm.
it's kind of ridiculous with the lighter part of it, you know, but the tension of it I thought was pretty good because he's walking down the hallway And when she drops the lighter, it's in the path of where he's walking. So she's trying to use her foot to pull the lighter back to where she's hiding behind one of those medical curtains. Now,
Yeah.
tell me how you were frustrated about it, but or did you like
Well,
any
not
of
only
that scene or
that,
not?
but like how she was looking out the curtain and when that dropped, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it took her forever to move away from the curtain. So the fact that he didn't see her peeking at him, it's like, dude, you suck. How could you have not have missed that?
Yeah.
And it just, yeah, this scene just bugged me. Like I said, the tension, it didn't like get me all, oh no, what's gonna happen? It was just like, hurry up, let's get to the next scene. Let's go.
Uh, well, the doctor gets killed, and we have a couple more kills that
Yep.
happen too, man. It was crazy. They're holding her down. They're not letting her out. They actually tied her down. That was a
There's
crazy
the
scene too,
straps.
man.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy. But another crazy kill that was that like tripped me out. You got one of the other nurses. This is actually a nurse that didn't even have anything to necessarily do with Susan, but she's walking down the hallway and the killer is coming down the hall with this sheet and like
Yeah.
literally chasing her down the hall. It did look creepy. Like this scene looks pretty creepy, but it's kind of crazy too because it's like I don't know. I mean, I get it. Some people when they get if they're getting attacked or they get super scared, they like freeze up or they just run. They're not thinking logically. But I would have been like, I don't know, I would have thrown something at him or something. But she ran down the hall and he eventually catches her. And that's the one you kind of talked about earlier. He stuck her with a syringe full of something. I don't know what it was, but it was kind of gnarly.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was pretty good.
Yep. Jason saying the shot of the lighter. Never before in my life have I ever gotten irritated by a prop. By a prop. Yeah.
I hear you, man.
Uh, yeah. That was crazy. But we get to the finale when the killer actually gets her out of the room. And this is where the big kind of reveal happens. So again, for you guys that haven't seen this movie, we're gonna obviously go full spoilers here. But let me ask you something, Coriander. Without saying it, did you
Okay.
already know the killer? Did you have an idea who the killer was?
Uh, you know, no.
Now, is that because they had a lot of red herrings or
Well, they did, but
yeah,
I mean, it was hard to tell because he always had, the doctor outfit on and the mask
right.
and I mean, if anything, it's the eyes. You go by the eyes. That's the only thing that could. Now that when you showed one picture, the eyes would give it away. But
Yeah.
watching this movie prior, no, I didn't know.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, absolutely. Um but once the reveal happens, I got to admit it did surprise me. Following the movie, it did surprise me because there were so many ways it could have gone. And again, I referenced two scenes earlier, and so I'm going to go back to that in a second, but now to do the reveal, the killer was friggin' Harry.
Yeah.
The killer was freaking Harry, who
Hmm.
was helping her, through some of
He
the movie. Now
was.
we understand why, because he was orchestrating all of this. He wanted her files to be messed up so that she would have to stay in the hospital. He knew that there was a whole floor of the hospital that was vacated, whatever, and so he could kind of maneuver around. He knew where files were. He knew everything. Like he set up everything. And we come to find out that Harry is Harold, who was the kid in the beginning of the movie that was rejected by Susan. Now, here's the thing. I just want to say this. And Val saying the same thing. The reveal surprised me too. This is the thing, man. When you had that scene, Coriander, let me know what you think. That scene where the killer took the piece of paper out of the typewriter. He had just
Mm-hmm.
killed the typist. And then he runs out of the room. Not even a few seconds in the movie, when you're watching the movie, it was like 5 seconds later, you see
Hmm.
Harry come in and take the paper.
Hmm.
Okay, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So in other
that
so
was
in
a
other
little
words,
suspicious, but
no, but it's the fact that he's the killer. Why would he even walk
hmm
out of the room and come back in? He could have just taken the paper himself as the killer. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what
he
I'm
had to
saying
play the
is
part though.
For who?
right?
No one was in the
For
room.
her. Well,
No one was in
for
the what I'm
himself, I guess. I don't know.
that's the point I'm trying to make. For the viewer, we're watching it and we see the killer take the paper, switch it, run out of the room, and then we see Harry come in and take the paper. So as the viewer, what I'm saying is it was kind of an interesting way that they threw us off the trail. You get
Yep,
what I'm saying?
I do.
Because he could have just taken the paper. He's the killer.
He
He
could
knows
have.
it. No one else is in the room. He doesn't have to play the part for anyone. Now, someone could say, well, maybe he's just so super crazy. That's why he left the room and then 10 seconds later came back in, but no, it was an interesting way that the movie kind of fooled us, is what I'm saying. So the other scene too is and I almost forgot about this, but it was another scene earlier, or I should say after that, where I was thinking, well, that's kind of interesting too, because in other words, they're playing both sides of the field, and he doesn't have to do those types of things. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
anyways, long story short, I was ranting, but I did think that the movie was kind of clever that way, because that scene where he's working with her in the files in the file room, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they're hiding, Harry and Susan are hiding, and you see a doctor with a mask look into the room. That also threw me off of Harry. You know what I'm saying? So there was
Hmm.
two times that the movie intentionally threw you off the trail of who the killer was. So I thought that was, and I guess what I'm saying is I give them credit. So, but long story short, she does escape and stabs Harry. So she's running through. Now this is the part of the movie where I think that they messed up with their pacing, because there was a scene where she was running through one of the rooms and trying to hide, and he's coming after her, but it just wasn't shot very well. It kind of went on too long and it was kind of aimless. It didn't pick back up until he eventually does catch her on the roof of the hospital and he's about to stab her. What did you think about that, Coriander, especially that scene that I thought was way off with the pacing?
Yes, yeah, I agree with that too. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have much to
Jason's,
say.
I know, I can tell. Jason saying at this point, I figured it out. I remembered him helping her, and something about his face seemed familiar to me, particularly his eyes. I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah, once the reveal happened, it was kind of like, yeah, his eyes, they do kind of match up. But I gotta admit, man, the reveal caught me off guard. It really, really did. But in this scene where he actually captures her and he's trying to stab her, the only listen, and I know Jason said it earlier in the chat, but she's trying to fight him off, and the only thing that she can do is grab that lighter. It's a good thing she's a smoker, man, because he had gotten some liquid. She had poured some liquid on him right before he caught her, and it was flammable. So she lit him up. He goes up in flames. He runs after her. She moves out of the way, and he just falls to his death. That was a pretty well shot scene too for a low budget horror film, because they showed it. They didn't shy away from it, and it looked, obviously we know it wasn't real. It was a dummy or whatever, but it looked pretty good. What did you think about that final death?
Oh yeah, I thought that was pretty good, you know. It looked it looked yeah, I liked it.
It wasn't too bad for
Yeah.
low budget, anyways. I think
Yeah.
I can deal with it. But
Right?
anyways, yeah. So at the end of the movie, he dies. She's reunited with her daughter and her creepy ass ex husband, and that was pretty much it. That was the whole movie. It was very, very simple.
Yep,
It
it
was
was.
no frills to it. But I gotta admit, it had its moments. It had its moments. They should have found a
Yeah.
better way to have kept her in the hospital, though. That's the one issue I do have with it. But other than that, it was creepy people, creepy atmosphere. The music was pretty good too, and yeah. So let's give this thing a score. You know how we do this. We give our badge ranking. We've got 4 badges, which means that we think it's excellent. It's a must watch. We've got 3 badges, meaning we think it's good. We've got 2 badges, meaning that it's okay. You can chance it, take it or leave it. And of course, we've got the dreaded 1 badge, which means it's absolutely horrible. AKA, don't go in the woods alone. aka Blood Cult, aka Student Bodies, aka Good Night, God Bless. Okay, so Coriander, what what are we gonna give for a score for X-Ray, aka Hospital Massacre?
I'm gonna give it 2.
Ooh, really? A 2?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Not a fan of it, huh?
Nah, not really.
Wow. Okay. I got to give it a 3, man. I think they did a lot of good stuff, man. I mean, the kills were good. The killer was good. There was good atmosphere. There was some pretty good setup to these kills. They didn't shy away from their practical work. I mean, this budget was ridiculously not there. So I gotta give it a 3, man. I gotta give it a 3. I think it was good. I mean, it's not great. I do think the pacing was off in that third act when she was being chased by him. That could have been done really, really well. But I think the pacing was off. Maybe it was, who knows? I don't know the reasoning why, but it just didn't seem like it was as good as some of the other pacing for some of the other kill scenes. But yeah, I give it a 3. I think it was yeah, it was enjoyable. It's something, again, this is a movie I'd heard of for a while, and I don't think I've ever seen it. If I did, I was way too young to remember it. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. Um, Jason saying it was a simple film. I agree. Yes. The moment that she poured the liquid on him, I knew what I knew what was coming. Yes, yes. Val saying the ending wasn't too bad. I did like the flaming Harry trying to fly.
Right.
Uh, Jason's going with 3 badges. Russell's going with 3 badges. Wayne saying I want to watch this now. Yeah, it's on YouTube as well, so it's free. Yep, check it out. It's on YouTube. Val going with 2 badges. It was your typical 80s campy horror movie. Had some great moments, lots of tension build up, but not a movie I would watch again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's kind of get a recount on what we have for the kills in the movie. Here we go, Coriander. You know I love doing this. 10. 10 kills isn't too bad.
Yeah. Not too bad.
I'll be right back.
God.
Yeah, you will. What'd you say? What?
I said, thank God
Oh
that it was
man,
over.
Jason, come on, man. This wasn't as bad as like "Don't Go in the Woods." Come on, you gotta. This was not horrible. You think it was
Well, for
horrible?
you, I'm glad
Was
you,
this was this as bad as "Don't Go in the Woods"?
well, I
Wow, you gotta think
mean,
about it.
I guess not,
I'm
but
gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna show you that movie again. We're gonna sit through "Don't Go
what?
in the Woods." That's what we're gonna do.
No, no,
Uh, re-
no.
real quick too. And we also do have an announcement that we're gonna do, especially for you guys that are here. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, especially for Slasher Movie Club. We really enjoy doing this series. It's a
Yeah.
series that's very near and dear to our hearts, and
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys, and without you guys that are
Right.
here pretty much every single week. And it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what we're talking about, even if it's a movie like this one that Coriander absolutely despises. You guys still, you guys still show up, and
It's not
well,
the worst, but I'm just saying, ugh, it's yeah. Anyway,
it's definitely not the worst. I'm just
no, it
saying
isn't. No.
this. This is actually. I mean, I would say.
But it's
I
just
would
not my
say.
kind of movie. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy
I would.
cheesy 80
Go ahead.
flicks, but some are, I don't know, man. This just didn't do it for me. But that's
Yeah.
just me, you
Well,
know?
I would say it's definitely like middle of the road, in a sense for me. But I
Hmm.
get it. I get it. I get it. Jason, let me just catch up with you guys for a second here. Jason says to a point the reveal was contrived. I suspected the young boy in the prologue from the beginning. The ending with the liquid and the lighter was a bit contrived, but I give it 3 badges for effort. Okay, there we go. Very, very cool. Let's see, just to catch up with you guys. Philip saying thank you for the stream. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming here and hanging out with us.
Hmm.
Val saying, I love SMC, gets me watching movies I normally wouldn't, and I've found I have missed some gems. Yeah, I mean
Nice.
that's the thing. We really enjoy, and again, some of these movies are movies we've never seen or haven't seen in a long time. This is a great example of that. So we enjoy also kind of diving into movies that we don't necessarily know. And sometimes these are movies that are forgotten. They're movies that have been long gone and forgotten. So we enjoy that as
Hmm.
well. um
Yeah.
Now let's also talk about for next week. We haven't talked about what we're going to be watching for next week, and we're going to continue our party, so to speak, with this franchise. I would have never thought we would be doing this, but next week we will get back into Chucky Land. It seems
Yep.
like people have been really enjoying our discussions on the Chucky series. I would have never thought that we were going to do that. It wasn't a plan originally, but it's been fun to do. So we're going to be talking about Seed of Chucky next week.
Yep.
We had a blast last week when we were talking about Bride of Chucky. So I think this is going to
Hmm.
be a fun one. But even better, we're gonna continue our new format of watching the movie with you guys. If you are a channel member or a Patreon member, we are going to be watching Seed of Chucky on Saturday evening, Saturday night. This upcoming Saturday night, we will, or I should say, I will send out the stream time to you guys and the link to the stream. I'll be providing the movie so you guys don't have to worry about it. But of course, if you do have Seed of Chucky, or if you want to stream it yourself, you can do that. It is streaming. So that's going to be a lot. I think that's going to be a really fun movie to watch as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. Last announcement, and this is an announcement that I've been waiting to give out. We have a lot of amazing people that we've been privileged to talk to, and that we've had as special guests. We have a huge special guest this week. Uh, Pizzal's going to be on with us, who is a horror YouTuber, movie YouTuber that's been around for a long time. I'm a huge fan of his. He's a huge fan of 80s movies, 80s horror, Friday the 13th, you name it. He knows his stuff. And I think it's going to be a really, really fun conversation that we're going to have. That's going to be a lot of fun, Coriander. That's going to
Yeah.
be a lot of fun. But we have another announcement that we're going to drop here tonight. And for you guys that hang out with us on Slasher Movie Club, I think it's only appropriate. But in the next 2 weeks, it'll be in July, I believe July the 7th. We're going to have probably one of the most important special guests, at least for me. This is literally a person that inspired me to even do this, and he's been around the community for a long time and is definitely a very experienced YouTuber. But we will be having on the Night Watch Zone Lee from Drum Dums, and just it's going to be amazing to get a chance to talk with Lee. I've talked to him, behind the scenes, over the last 2 years, here and there, every once in a while, a message or a comment, and he's always so generous and humble, and he answers his audience. And anyways, we're going to have him on, and it's going to be amazing, Coriander. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's,
Sure will.
yeah. I mean, he's literally one of my biggest inspirations. So I'm really
Yeah,
excited to get
that's
a
cool.
chance to
Yeah.
talk with him. And yeah, he's a really cool dude. He knows his stuff, so it's going to be a lot of fun, man.
Hmm.
All right. And thank you guys so much, Katie. Thank you. Jen said, I thought you were going to have John Carpenter on the stream. Yeah, well, when that happens,
Whoa.
I'm telling you, whoa, right? Whoa.
That would be something.
What's up, Ava? Uh, hey, Jason, saying Lee is great. He is, man. He is. He's a really cool dude. You know that. Val saying that's going to be an amazing interview. I think so too. I think he's a really cool dude. He's happy to come visit our community. So I'm going to be putting that stream up, if not tonight, then by tomorrow. So again, like, and we say this with everything, guys, but when you come onto the page, onto the channel page, please, check out our upcoming stuff, give it a like, share it out. It definitely helps. We appreciate those types of things, man. Jason saying visiting hours is the best hospital slasher. Ooh, that's right. And you've been telling me to check that out. And actually, we were going to do that. We still will. But yeah, Jason, we'll be doing that for an episode as well. And hey, we got a super chat come in. All right.
Oh,
Very, very
nice.
cool. Intel Wild, $2 super chat.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. We appreciate that. It really helps us out. Definitely. Saying, never heard of this one. Gotta check it out. I think it's worth
Yeah.
checking out as well. It's free. It's on YouTube.
Got good
And
kills.
again,
Yeah.
it's got good kills, man. I mean, again,
Yeah.
if you like 80s, campy, cheesy, sleazy, schlocky type of movies, this is up your alley.
This
It
is for
man.
you. Right?
Yeah, it is. And Val also putting the link in for our stream tomorrow night in honor of one of our viewers, Sir James. He asked for it. We made it happen. Phantasm versus the Omen on our Tuesday night versus streams. So definitely get ready to hang out with us. It's going to be a blast. This one is going to be interesting and quite a bit different. So yes. All right, guys. So we will catch you all next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night for Phantasm versus the Omen. So, anyways, we'll catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Upchurch.